expertise and specializations. UP SIDS is located on the lower ground floor of the Bahay ng Alumni at UP Diliman. Facing the Bahay ng Alumni, the entrance to UP SIDS is on the left side. There are several office units in UP SIDS, one of which is the Education Research Program, or ERP. ERP was established in 1991, focusing on three major policy agendas during those years: functional literacy in non-formal education, indigenization of the curriculum, and family and education research, with two of its research projects receiving the UNESCO International Literacy Research Award. In recent years, ERP updated its research agenda in response to prevailing issues that arose from reforms in the educational system. This was developed through a review of existing education research vis-a-vis education policies released in the country. Consultations with stakeholders and key informants on issues based on their experiences as field officers, education leaders, researchers, academics, organization representatives, and analysis of all data gathered. Following its research agenda, ERP organizes its research according to strands. It collaborates with partner schools and DepEd offices. Indigenous peoples communities, and research and academic institutions and laboratories within. And outside the country on its projects. Other projects of ERP aim to address the issues and concerns stemming from the implications of the COVID-19 pandemic to the education sector. Currently, ERP continues to work on projects following the identified strands of research inquiry, including studies on fighting disinformation and activities also focus on child-directed print corpora, oral language and literacy, and the development of multiliteracy assessments for Filipino children under the language and literacy strand. ERP also engages with research fellows who help design, develop, implement, and analyze results of the studies within the strands. Furthermore, ERP finds ways to promote and disseminate its research and publications through its website and presentations in various academic conferences and participation in education research fora, including its annual research forum, SIPAT Educación.
Good morning and welcome to today's joint event by the UP Center for Integrative and Development Studies and the Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineers. And I am Dr. Rosalie Arcala Hall. I am the Executive Director of UPCIDS. And I am also the chair of the Research Expertise Cluster 13. This is a social, economic, and political sciences cluster of PAASE. I have two hats for this event, and I will be your moderator as well in the following the presentation. So welcome to everybody, and we're very happy to have you. There are now 168 participants. We have had over 400 registered. I hope that you will join us and continue to come in as we progress. We have a very interesting lineup for you. The presenters actually are from the project on Sukat Wika, which is a psycholinguistic analyzer developed by Francis from the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, UP Diliman. This is a project under the Education Reform Program of UPCIDS that's headed by Dr. Dina Ocampo and Dr. Lorena Kalingasan. It is one of the most prolific programs under the UPCIDS portfolio. So at this point, I'm going to briefly orient you about what the program is about and how we're going to go through with this session. Oh, it says internet connection. It says. Naising po si Ma'am Dina, who is on us, and Dr. Kalingasan. Thank you very much for the both of you for accepting the invitation to present Sukat Wika in this event. Sukat Wika actually automates the extraction of linguistic properties such as word density, concept load, and phonological weight for text written in Filipino, English Cebuano, and Ilocano. So the idea is to understand the characteristics of texts that children read. That's age appropriate and help in the creation, therefore, in instructional materials that will support reading development among children. So the presentation today has two parts. First, there will be a presentation from Katrina Lorraine Lucasan, or Tring. Tring is the Senior Research Associate of ERP program, and she will explain about how the text analyzer work in the context of psycholinguistics. And this is going to be followed by a presentation by Francis Santelices, who is with the Digital Signal Processing Laboratory of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering of UP Diliman. So Francis will explain about the app, the tool itself, and how it's to be used. And then we will come back and will provide some about life. So with invite all of you post your questions or comments in the chat and our IDS will be happy we them. Okay. So at this point, this I would like to give am I still on? Oh, sorry. Three.
Hello. Okay.
Three, please begin the presentation.
All right.
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Rosalie. Good morning, everybody. Francis. Yeah. Okay. So good morning, everyone. My name is Tring, and I am from the UP Center for Integrative and Development Studies Education Research Program, or UP-SIDS ERB. Francis, who is from the Electrical and Electronics Engineering Institute Digital Signal Processing Laboratory, or DSP Lab, and I will be presenting on behalf of our colleagues, Dr. Dina Ocampo, co-convener of ERP, and Angel Aquino from UPDSP, who is now with Charles Darwin University. Together, ERP and the DSP lab collaborated to develop an analysis software called Sukat Wika, whose features and capabilities are what we will be presenting here today. Next, this is the outline of our presentation. We will start with a short background or introduction, followed by a discussion of Sukat Wika's features and user interface. Then we will talk about the research where Sukat Wika has been used and end with what the plans are for Sukat Wika in the future. Next. Okay, so let's start with what is text analysis and why is it important. So text analysis provides a systematic approach to generating information from text-based materials. It can convert large amounts of text-based data into a structured format that can be further analyzed to identify key facts, relationships, and patterns. Examples of these are information extraction, text summarization, question answering, and sentiment analysis. In terms of the history, in the 1800s, scholars studied biblical texts by rearranging, classifying, and calculating frequencies of words. In the 1940s, this moved beyond the analysis of a single author to texts across different types of works. In the 1990s, Internet enabled widespread access to an extensive corpus of text-based documents, prompting researchers to develop various techniques for extracting information from those texts. Then in the 2000s, there was technique expansion, which allowed identification of topics, sentiment analysis, and social media analytics. Now to the present day, these are the most popular text analyzers available. A feature that all of them share is the word counter. The difference is only on how these tools visualize the data. One will just show the details, and others might form word clouds that display the most frequent words bigger than the others. Some process not only one document, while some, like Voyant tools and Text Inspector, analyze a whole corpus of data. Another thing about all of them is that they are all web-based applications with a user-friendly interface, meaning the tools can be used intuitively provided that you have a good internet connection. Most of them, however, only work for English. Although Voyant Tools works for multiple languages, none of them currently work for the Philippine languages, each of which has its own unique sets of phonemes, word morphology, and rules for syllabication. Another issue with the tools mentioned is that the metrics they provide don't necessarily correspond to the metrics that educators can use in assessing text complexity or reading comprehension of their students. Now, let us go to the Philippine context and take a look at how language and literacy are developed. The Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, or Republic Act 10533, mandates that the K-12 curriculum adheres to the principles and framework of MTB-MLE. Through the MTB-MLE program, children in the Philippines are taught in their mother tongue, with Filipino and English gradually introduced in grades 1, 2, and 3. Currently, there are 17 mother tongues which are part of the program, including Cebuano, Binisaya, and Ilocano, which are the languages with the most number of speakers. Implementation components may be changed though as the Matatag curriculum is implemented starting in the next school year. The development of Sukat Wika was started because UP-SIDS ERP wanted to construct good assessments as part of one of its studies under the Language and Literacy Research Strand. Among the priority steps was to find a way to ensure that the test items were drawn from print material, which typical kinder to grade 3 students usually encounter. Our solution was to develop the program Sukat Wika. Sukat Wika is a combination of two Filipino words, sukat, which means measure, and wika, which means language. So from its name, what is Sukat Wika? Sukat Wika is a tool which, as its name suggests, may be used to measure language. The University of the Philippines holds the copyright for Sukat Wika. So it's a program that can analyze text in several Filipino languages with metrics that we could tailor ourselves to fit the needs of our educators, authors, publishers, and education policymakers. At this point, I will now turn you over to Francis, who will start the discussion on the features of Sukat Wika.
Thank you, Ma'am Tring. So, currently, the Sukat Wika 1.0 provides support for the four major Philippine languages: Filipino, English, Sinugbuanong Binisaya, and Ilocano. After Tagalog, Sinugbuanong Binisaya and Ilocano are the languages with the most number of speakers according to the PSA's 2020 census. Um, in future iterations of Sukat Wika, however, we may be able to expand for other Philippine languages as well. As for the features of Sukat Wika, there are six. The paragraph length counter, sentence length counter, phoneme counter, word frequency counter, word length counter, and the word search. This For the paragraph length counter, it tells us how many paragraphs are in the text, how many paragraphs contain, and number of sentences. An example on this is found on the right. This is what you will see on the Sukat Wika app itself. For the second, which is the sentence length counter, it tells us how many sentences are in the text and how many sentences contain how many number of words. Also, again, on the right is an example output of what you will see in the app. We will have a demo for it later. For the third is the phoneme counter. It tells us how many phonemes are in the text, how many times does each phoneme occur, how many words contain how many phonemes, and the list of unique words ordered by length in phoneme. Here is the sample phoneme counter output. Shown is the total number of phonemes, the list of the phonemes with its corresponding pronunciation, frequency, and keyword. On this page, we see how many words have how many phonemes and the list of words ordered by the phoneme count. Next, the fourth feature, the word frequency counter. It tells us how many words are in the text, how many times each word occurs, and it also lists the unique words arranged alphabetically and by frequency. On the right is the word list arranged by frequency, and on the next slide is the word list arranged alphabetically. Fifth is the word length counter. It tells us how many syllables are in the text, how many words contain n syllables, and it lists down the unique words ordered by the number of syllables. The output on the right shows all of the words with one syllable with frequency shown on the right. And this is done for all the syllable counts until the most number of syllables are found in the text. For example, for this text, that's 6 syllables. Lastly, for the word searcher, it receives an input string of characters. It has optional inputs of how many number of syllables, position of sequence, whether start, middle, end, or anywhere. And it outputs the list of words containing the string and satisfying the conditions that you set. For example, if the input string is TION and you want the number of syllables to be 4 and position anywhere, it lists down the total occurrences of the words with the search string. For this case, is TION, and it's 12 occurrences, and it lists down all the words that has them. We derived the rules for all the Sukat Wika features from several known orthographies for these languages. In particular, those made by the Komisyon ng Wikang Pilipino, Akademiyang Bisaya, CMU, and the College English Journal. As for the tokenization, or the splitting of the raw text files into component language elements, we tokenize the text based on paragraphs, sentences, and words, based on new line characters, end of sentence characters, and white space, respectively. As for the Sukat Wika interface, the front end was developed using PyQt5, and the back end was done on Python. If you want to look at the source code, here's the link. Okay. The Sukat Wika graphical user interface is very simple. It contains only 4 major parts. The main buttons, the features, the status bar, and the main window, the body. Each of the tabs that can be seen in the lower part of the interface displays each of the features mentioned earlier. Also seen below the tabs is the status bar. Which displays the path to the current analyzed file, the language selected, and the instructions to export the results. The star of the show here is the main window. An added feature that serves as an aid to the users is the phoneme reference guide for the English text analysis based from the CMU Pronouncing Dictionary. This can be accessed by clicking the button on the upper rightmost part of the interface. As for the demo, this will be done by, let's watch this video.
Hi, Francis. There's no audio.
Let's do that again. Let me just share the screen again.
Start by clicking on the load button here. So it has to be a docx file. We will use a Word document from the desktop. So a Kinder document, which is in Filipino. So let's choose Filipino. There it is. Click OK. And then you'll be prompted to wait because it might take a while to process depending on the document size. Okay, so it's finished now. So first, we will find the paragraph length. So it will show you how long paragraphs are in the document. On the right side are the sentence lengths. So how long the sentences are in the document. And then we can also find the phonemes present arranged from most frequent to least frequent here on the top. Under it are the frequency of phonemes per word. And on the side are the lists of words organized according to the number of phonemes present. So that goes all the way down to the longest word. If we look at some samples here for words with 4 phonemes, we have atis, awit, ayon. Then we also have word frequency sorted by frequency. Ang here is the most frequent. And telepono, among others, only occurred once, so the least frequent. On the right side are the words arranged alphabetically, so from A to Z. Finally, we also have the word lengths, so the number of syllables present in words. And then we have the lists on the right side. We have the frequency counts for each of the word. Then we can also search for letter strings. So let's try bata, B-A-T-A. Yeah, so bata and batang are present. So it does not distinguish. As long as there's B-A-T-A, it will find it. Now let's try ba. 2 syllables. Let's try at the beginning of the word this time. Beginning or start. Let's search. So 2 syllables. There it is. Bawat, bagay, bata. Let's now look at how to save output from Sukat Wika. So click on export as .csv. Type the file name. Make sure you are in the correct folder. Click save. And when it is saved, go to that folder, look for the file, and when you open it, you will see that it will open as an Excel sheet. So you'll find the paragraph length, sentence length, the phonemes present. So there, that's it. That's how to Sukat Wika and how to save the output also as well.
Hello? Hello? Am I back? I think we can just share the video outside of the presentation, just so everybody can rewatch it in clearer version. Version 1 of Sukat Wika can only support Microsoft Word documents as input and is compatible with the Windows operating system. All dependencies are
Hi,
already
Francis.
included.
Sorry, we're still seeing the video, not the
Yes.
slides.
Tama po.
Ah,
That's
okay.
correct.
Thank you.
All dependencies are already included in the distribution of Sukat Wika 1.0.
Start by clicking.
Now, let me get Ma'am Tring back to talk about outputs or research which have used Sukat Wika.
All right. Thank you, Francis. Okay, so wait, Francis, before I start, I think you can try to reshare and then don't click the part where it says to enhance or basta may option when you share para hindi namin nakikita yung mga boxes. Sige nga, try mo ulit. Yan. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so now let's go to the sample outputs or the research which have used Sukat Wika so far. Okay, next slide. So here in the next slide, you will see a sample of counts of Kinder Ilocano learners materials. So you will see in the right side numbers. So the numbers stand for the frequency counts and then the words in order of most commonly frequent until the least frequently occurring words in Ilocano for a Kinder learner material. Next, we have a sample for Sinubuanong Binisaya showing phoneme counts of grade 3 text. So you can see on the leftmost side the number of phonemes, 1 to 19 here on the side. Then you'll see the words on the right side showing the corresponding words. So that's the version, that's the sample we were trying to show earlier during the demo. Next, for the multiliteracy assessments for Filipino children development, we use Sukat Wika to refine the word lists included in the battery. The MLAF is a literacy assessment tool for K-3 children, and it is a battery covering the 12 domains of literacy in Filipino English. So here is what we did. For the phonics and word reading assessment on the next slide, Sukat Wika was used as another means to differentiate between easy, average, and difficult items, as shown here in the next slide. Next slide, Francis. Yan. Okay, so Sukat Wika was used as another means to differentiate between easy, average, and difficult items. Frequency counts of words from consolidated DepEd LMs or learners' materials from K-3 were used. The first round of analysis looked at the number of learners who were able to get the items correct, arranged from greatest to smallest. So that is the column beside the red column. Sukat Wika was then used to determine the level of exposures learners would have to these words, vis-a-vis ensuring that a good spread of phonemes, blends, and phonograms and letter combinations were present in the final word list. So you can see there in the red box, yeah, the easy words have the most number. And then if you go down, least frequently occurring already. Okay, next. It has also been used to determine the 200 most frequently occurring Filipino words, as shown on the slide. The 200 most frequently occurring words were taken from 363 kinder to grade 3 LMs, shown on the next slide. The breakdown is as follows. 92 were from the LR portal. Previous slide. Nawala ang slide. Anyway, 92 were from the DepEd portal. 267 were from texts used for the Talk Together project, which will be discussed later. And 16 from PhilErie assessment texts. Okay. Next, for the AOA work, can you go to the next slide, friends? Yan. Okay, AOA, Talk Together. For work done for the Talk Together project naman. So the Talk Together project is a multi-country endeavor funded by the Global Challenges Research Fund, or UK Research and Innovation. It is a collaboration among the University of Oxford, the University of the Philippines, the Promise Foundation in India, the Interactive Children's Literacy Program, or ICLIP in Quezon City, and Georgia State University. Two of the sub-studies within the project are the Age of Acquisition, or AOA study, and the Corpus study. Next slide. For the AOA work, the word search function of Sukat Wika helped refine the word list by locating words with the same roots. These words had to be replaced to meet the selection criteria for the final list of words. For instance, in number 1, over there, the root alaga, okay, for that version of the word list occurred in 2 words, mag-alaga and alagaan, and therefore had to be replaced. The same function was also used to identify common words in the AOA word list and the DepEd Kinder Learners material shown on the next slide. This was to ensure that children were exposed to these words. Next, for the corpus work, it not only also identified common roots, but was also used to list the different derivations of selected roots. The derivations were further used to describe the complexity of words that learners are usually exposed to. So for example, the first one there is punta. And then we found 9 derivations in the corpus. Then beside it are the frequency counts. Okay, so for both studies, Sukat Wika determined word properties like syllable counts, phoneme counts, and frequency counts of words, enabling researchers to describe the phonological properties of text. The experience with the Talk Together sub-studies ushered in the realization that Sukat Wika could be used to provide information related to indicators of text complexity. But I see, Francis, in the next slide, that is the corpus source of the 200 most frequently occurring words. So we found the missing slide. So the slide just moved here. So if you remember the 200 most frequently occurring words, these all came from the corpus that are here. Thank you. Okay, so in the next slide is the ways forward. Okay, so aside from Sukat Wika's current or original functions, it is possible for it to evolve into a more sophisticated tool to help determine the complexity of texts. Aside from developing versions for other Philippine languages, Sukat Wika version 2.0 could include additional indicators such as parts of speech, affix and morpheme counts, lexical density, diversity, and complexity for Filipino and other Philippine languages, graphical representations as output, and multiple simultaneous searches. Planned within the year efforts to begin the development of the next version of Sukat Wika. After usability testing, focus group discussions will be conducted to further determine aspects of Sukat Wika which will need updating or revision, including its user interface. Plans in making Sukat Wika available commercially are also in the works. The corpus work will also be continued with the metadata being continuously updated periodically. So that's it for us. Thank you so much for listening. Here are our references. 3 slides. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Tring and Francis. I apologize. I had to move locations because my office could not quite get the internet signal, and I had been disconnected a few times. But I hope I'm okay now in terms of reception. Okay, so thank you very much again, Tring and Francis, for that presentation. Very interesting. I then would like to open the floor for questions that you have. I see that there is one in the Q&A. Okay, so um, there is a question from an anonymous attendee. I was wondering if you had the chance to use the software in analyzing Philippine IRI texts. I'm sorry, I do not know what IRI means. Ano po yung IRI? Unless our participants, our Tring or Francis knows what IRI means.
PhilErie, ma'am, is the Philippine Informal Reading Inventory. Ayan, as
Correct po.
sabi po ni Teacher Portia and Teacher Hazel. So we've included the PhilErie texts in the corpus that I showed a while ago. If you remember the missing slide, yun siya. So we used it we just used it to add to the corpus, and then from there we were able to get parts of the words that made up the most frequently occurring words in Filipino.
Very good. Okay. Meron pong tanong si Ma'am Elizabeth Suarez. Is this app available for public use?
At the moment, not yet, but we're trying to figure that out moving forward. Maybe Teacher Dina, do you have maybe she will have a better answer than me. Thank you, Teacher Dina.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Dr. Hall.
Good morning,
Hi, Francis and Tring. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share about the work we're trying to do using Sukat Wika and developing it further. At the moment, it's not yet available. We're trying to improve the user interface. We've also undergone training from UP Diliman. UP System, no? UP System as to how to bring forward this software so that it can be part of share. It can be shared. We're still deciding how to do that, how to share it. Will it be shared commercially or will it be for free? Because maintaining it has costs, so we need to do that sort of analysis first. We've already had it copyrighted, no? So we and UP is involved in it. So there will be discussions with UP in terms of public use. But first we need to improve the user interface because at the moment very few people can actually run it. Oo. And so Francis is going to have to help us do that. Francis, okay lang ba yan? Yes. Okay, thank you. So yun po yung sagot. Tring, there was also a question. May dagdag ka, Francis?
Hindi naman po. Kayo po ang ano dun. Sa kung paano gagawin.
Pero aming trabaho ito. So lahat kami may say sa mangyayari sa Sukat Wika. May question kanina lang on morphology from Miss Hannah, I think. Nakita ko kanina. Address ko lang na there still isn't a morpheme counter for any of the languages. But we are hoping to do at least for Filipino. Pero rock and roll kasi ang morphology ng Filipino. So we have to study that better. Thank you. And linguists will have to help us. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you very much, Ma'am Dina. There is a question as well from Stephanie. Um, can Sukatwika analyze simultaneously Taglish text? Pwede po ba yon yung pinaghalong Tagalog at English? Since, as I think Ms. Giang is interested in the corpus of code switching.
Uh, that's a very good question. As far as I understood the programming side of it, and Francis can correct me lang if I misunderstood it, that the reason why we choose the language at the beginning, di ba, in the demo, I'm not sure if you saw it, you choose, after you upload the document, you choose if it's in English, Filipino, Sinugbanong, Binisaya, or Ilocano, is because the orthography basis is parang used within the program script. So ngayon, if it's Taglish, kasi there are words in English, ano kayang example ng word in English that will be counted differently? 'Di ba yung phonogram na AY, A. Tama ba, Francis? Yung count nun as a phoneme is 1 in English, but in Filipino, magkahiwalay, 2. So may parang ganong kind of discrepancy because the program script is based on the orthography. So ngayon, what is the answer to the question, Francis? If Taglish,
how would it count Taglish words?
I think it would based on what you initially selected when you first started the program. So it at right now it can't handle Taglish. It would have some mistakes.
Siguro kung gusto mo ng, I don't know, if estimate, ako ngayon ko lang iniisip no, you can run it twice, probably, and then check against the or the sounds, the phonemes that you know will be different in English. If that is your, objective, yung ganong kind of counting. Kung frequency lang, kaya naman niya yung words, kung word level, 'di ba? Sentence and paragraph level, kaya niya. Magkaka-problem lang dun sa phoneme counter side. And maybe yung syllable din. Ay, wala lang akong maisip ngayon na example ng word. Teacher Hazel has a comment saying, kailangan matag which are English and which are Filipino. Ayun. Ayun nga. Yan. I hope that answered your question, ma'am.
I'm interested wala tayong orthography for Taglish just yet. I'm assuming na yung pong mga corpus ng materials natin, they're written exclusively in the language. Halimbawa po Cebuano, or entirely in English, or entirely in Filipino, pero parang hindi naman po yata pinapayagan ng DepEd or whichever is producing this corpus of materials na ang ilalagay na words doon ay Taglish. I don't even know how frequent is Taglish used in learner materials.
Yes, ma'am. I also don't know.
Tama po, okay. Okay, so moving on. Thank you for those answers. Yung question po ni Michael Kevin Garcia, sabi niya, ano pa yung mobility ng sukat wika? Again, very similar for combined languages like Taglish and the like. Since plurality of our languages is evident in both teaching and learning pedagogy. So, yung nga po, yung nasagot na po yung yung answer doon. So, currently, Sukat Wika 1.0 does not have that capability for Taglish, or pwede siyang ihiwalay na i-run for Tagalog, one for Filipino, and then one for English. Pero magkakaproblema siya with respect to yung sa Finaman syllable count. Kung word count lang, okay siya. Pero kung kung yung sa Finaman syllable, medyo problematic po. At yung limitation po arises because the orthography is written in the program script na specific po sa language. Okay? So kay Felix naman po as okay, tuldik in your next version of Sukat Wika. Ano po yung tuldik? I'm not quite sure what it is. Tring?
Po yatang symbol nung maragsa. Ayan, stress. Tama ba, Teacher Portia? Baka yung mga symbols po used in, ayan, stress marks. Yeah.
Stress marks, yeah. So yung mga lingwahe natin, may mga symbols pala na sa taas. Yeah, I did not. Curious ako yung mga learner materials, may ganun din siya, no? I believe for Cebuano and Ilocano, no? Particularly, may mga stress symbols sila on top of letters and things.
Yung mga na-work with namin, ma'am, wala. Wala naman.
Okay. So, so yun po yung sagot. Wala pong stress marks po muna yung tuldik at this point. So, letters lang po muna. Okay? Okay. So, from the anonymous attendee, ay Felix muna. Kay anonymous attendee. Yung paggamit po ng AI, as you develop Sukat Wika 2.0, will you consider using AI?
Sige. I guess that's sa akin po yung question na yun.
Yes.
Although medyo buzzword yung AI, marami siyang limitations, alam naman natin. Lalo na for Philippine languages. Para maging effective kasi yung AI, kailangan malaki yung source ng information or ng data. So, maganda kung magagamitan natin siya ng AI, pero sa ngayon, nasa part tayo na mahirap siya kasi baka kulangin tayo ng data for all the Philippine languages na gusto nating i-accommodate. So, yun po yung sagot.
Okay. Very good po. So nasagot na po from Mr. Anonymous attendee yung text chosen for the corpus. In-explain po kanina, yung 300 po na included sa corpus nila were derived from 3 sources. So, i-share na lang po yung slide presentation later sa inyo so you can take a look at it more closely, yung mga listahan po ng mga learner materials that they've incorporated in their corpus. Okay. For Ms. John Estacio, are you planning to also include readability or suitability as an improvement on Sukat Wika? Okay, so content words presented differently from articles or pronouns.
Yes, we were also considering that. Hindi pa namin siya nauupuan exactly how but that is one of the goals that we would like to achieve in the next version, or maybe not the next but the next version. Kasi siya, parang mas complicated siya in the sense na you need to have the program against the parang criteria for judging kasi di ba readability level. Right now, what Sukat Wika can do is it can process a document uploaded to it. So wala siyang anything stored within its program. Ayun.
Tama po, okay. So I think there's another interesting question as a person who is parang speaker ba, halimbawa Ilocano, there are many parang variation in spelling. So yung paggamit halimbawa ng hyphen. So sa Cebuano po at saka sa Ilocano, maraming pong ginagamit na hyphenated words and so may variation sa spelling. So yung question po ni anonymous attendee, how does Sukat Wika deal with phenols which are typically not written? So halimbawa po tamis, which is Cebuano for sweet. It happens to be also the word for yung sa Hiligaynon ganyan din. Mayroon po siyang hyphen. Or another ano po yung spelling variation. For Cebuano, mga Jude, Gajud, Gayod, ganon. So paano po bilang noon in terms of syllabication halimbawa or other things, measures?
So it will depend on how it is written in the text. So yung gayod, magiging 2 syllables, di ba po? Pag yod, 1 only. So kasi yung hindi kasi sa spoken version, um, nagde-depend yung count. So whatever document you put in and how it is written there, ganun po siya lalabas. So text po talaga yung basis nung magiging counts nung sukat wika results. May dagdag ka ba, Francis?
Tama naman. I guess yung gustong malaman din ni Sir ay kung may spell checker daw ba. So the straight answer is wala siyang spell checker. Kaya yung corpus din na ginamit ng sukat wika ay galing sa mga published works din.
But that's a good point. Oo nga. Baka that's something we can think about.
Consider moving forward.
Yeah. Kasi sometimes you see it already in the results na ay, may typo pala. Kasi nga, you know the word is not spelled like that, diba? So, yeah. Isusulat ko na siya dito sa notebook ko. Spell checker. Teacher Dina, spell checker. Okay.
So,
Yes,
there's
kailangan natin yan.
Yeah.
Si Ergo Tinio says na he represents Canvas. Once it is available publicly, will the software be able to recommend the reading level of our own texts based on your study? So ang corpus po ninyo ay K-3, hindi po ba? So pwede po bang gamitin yung sukat wika para ma-determine kung yung material na yan ay suitable siya for K-3 or pang higher level siya. I was very picked, my interest was picked yung sa classification nyo ng mga easy, average, and difficult words na ilan yung word count. So may, obviously, yung mga bata na K-3, medyo mas kukunti yung nag-a-appear na difficult words. So am I correct in assuming na presumably pag age appropriate yan, mas kukunti yung difficult words. Dapat kunti lang yung difficult words, correct po?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just answer it in 2 parts. Yung first, ma'am, yung pinakita na slide with the easy, average, and difficult. That was during the development of the multiliteracy assessment for Filipino children, or MLAF. So aside from Sukat Wika, ERP is also currently developing those assessments. We had the first round pre-pandemic, and then after that, we realized that kasi face-to-face version lang yung assessment na yun, we realized that we needed versions for remote administration. So we are also developing yung visual remote, ganito, naka-flash on screen or online, and then telephony, so through phone call. And then we wanted a way also to monitor progress. So magkakaroon ng 3 parang times of assessment during the year. So that is why we were trying to use the data we got pre-pandemic. So yung counts na nandun, the first column shows us how many kids got the questions right. So dun lang po naka-anchor yung easy, average, and difficult. At least for that word list, ano po. Kasi nga, we were trying to make sense of the data and then use that to improve the assessments. And then, to further streamline yung choosing of the words that we would include for the beginning of year, middle of year, and end of year, we use the Sukat Wika accounts also to see if yun nga, how many times does it occur in the K-3 learners material. So, doon lang po galing yung easy, average, and difficult. So, again, hindi siya against a criteria. Yung naging criteria nun were the data we got from the kids that we worked with. So, in terms of the question of ma'am, sorry, ano na nga po yung question ni isang ma'am? Yung difficulty, yung readability level. Right now, hindi pa po siya nagagawa ng program mismo, but you can determine for yourself already. For example, like how we did it, na mukhang mahirap ito for most kids kasi nga only a few of them got it correctly. And then look at how many times it occurs in the corpus. Kasi, oo nga, kasi hindi pala siya parating nakikita. Kunwari, 39 times lang versus something na 1,000 something times. Parang ganon. So, may human component to it. So, hindi pa siya kaya by sukat wika only. So, may pa siya. May mga human interventions and thinking, may brains na human brain ang kailangan. Francis, may dagdag ka ba? Or maybe Teacher Lina, if you want to add, teach.
Actually, I was typing a response to Ergo. I said that I was writing that we hope to be able to provide parang better information on the linguistic features, no, yung morphology and so on. However, leveling of text also includes qualitative aspects, di ba? Yun na yung topic, content, syempre the social content of material can be written in an easy way, but it's heavy, di ba? Heavy for young children to digest. So that text might not actually be appropriate, even if linguistic features are easy. So there has to be a combination of quanti and quali assessment of texts. And yung quali, kailangan ng rubric. Yun yung sinasabi ni Tring na kailangan ng human brain be able to measure because that's highly contextualized. So that's what I was writing for Ergo dito sa ating answering sa questions. Thank you. May question about how about the corpus you are using? Na-answer ba natin nun? Is it available online? Hindi pa. Pero pwede yun maging available as long as the words are not traceable to the source. Kumbaga, kasi we have also to respect the sources. Yun lang. Thank you.
Some of the corpus are available yung sa AOA na word list, yung Talk Together study. If you search it, Talk Together Age of Acquisition study, there it's publicly available. So na po yun? I think na siya, anonymized and all that. So hindi na traceable.
Yan. Marami pong mga question pertaining to AI and ChatGPT na pwede po bang i-augment ang ChatGPT and generative AI para pag-ibayuhin yung sukat wika. There are 3 questions related to that. Maybe Francis can say more about it.
Okay. So, kasi I think generative AI is hiwalay siya na topic sa sukat wika. Kasi sukat wika is just an analysis, text analysis tool eh. Siguro pwedeng gumawa yung SIDS ng isa pang program na pang-generate automatically generate ng learner material. So that's another idea. Pero as far as sukat wika is concerned, I don't think generative AI ay may makatulong. Mas more on NLP or NLP AI siguro yung kailangan for this.
Yung tingin ko doon sa generative AI, we can tell the AI, for example, generate materials with 5-word sentences and these words have only 3 syllables at most. Parang we can tell them that when we know that, for example, that those kinds of features are present or optimal for children in grade 2, parang ganon, or grade 1, then hopefully it can do some generation. But we need first to establish what those parameters are, which we can already infer. And then we can probably ask the generative AI to say, let's do something about crocodiles, parang ganon, or do something about fiestas, parang ganon, di ba? And then it might be able to create those materials for us, which would be wonderful. It would be wonderful for teaching and learning. Yeah.
Ayan. May suggestion po si John Orbista na perhaps in the future, the Sukat Wika would also consider expanding to other Philippine languages like Akyanon or Hiligaynon, mga ganun po. Pwedeng paano po ulit yung 2.0 na what your plan to improve the software for the 2.0 version?
Siguro si
2.0.
Francis ang
Yeah,
mag-answer for
yun nga.
us.
Go, Francis.
Ay, papakita ko na lang ulit yung slides. Ito po yung current niya. And of course, nadadagdagan pa yan siya. So, most naman ng mga na suggestions nila ay na-account naman. Especially yung pag-include ng other languages.
Opo. When we kept on using the program, then we found out how else it could be more helpful. Kasi ano siya, parang, alam niyo yon yung sa cellphone, di ba you download an app and then after a while, mag-update siya. So parang ganun yung ano niya, na mas mabagal lang kami kesa yung sa app sa phone. Kasi nga, there are many things to consider and then, syempre gusto natin of quality yung magawa. But yeah, here are our parang dream points, yung mga objectives for the next version of Sukat Wika.
Okay, thank you. There is a parang related question galing sa isang anonymous attendee about Dr. Diaz's automated reading tutor software, Tanglao. Ma'am Dina, baka po may familiar kayo doon, yung Tanglao na software?
Actually, kanina ko pa iniisip yun eh. We'll have to look it up. Thank you for that information from the question.
Si Francis po yung
sino Francis gumawa.
Part po ako ng team ng Tanglao. So, ayun.
Okay. Oo. So,
medyo wala na kasing development na nangyayari ngayon with respect to Tanglao. Pero magandang interesting yung isipin yung combination ng dalawa.
Okay. So, mayroon ding interesting, apart po doon sa parang yung question about tooldik, meron din po yung pagdadagdag sana sa corpus ng mga millennial language like Werpa or mga ganun. Where yun na, mga ganun po. Parang hindi pa yun yata ginagamit doon sa corpus na tinitignan ninyo. But, I mean, is that at all possible? Oo.
Noted po.
Oo. So, my question po yata, nasagot na ito regarding yung public use versus commercialization option. Para dun po sa mga naggagawa ng master's thesis na were interested in this type of software to aid them in parang looking into important research problems with respect to teaching, pwede po bang humiram daw or I suppose gamitin siya? Given kung ano man po yung restrictions under the copyright rules currently owned by UP.
Sorry, hello?
Yes po. Oo.
Nawala lang po.
Oo, sorry po. Pag researcher daw, Tring, pwede daw po bang gamitin o hiramin given yung copyright restrictions? Ano po yung copyright restriction? Pwede po ba siyang gamitin ng researcher?
Maybe email. Ayan na si Teacher Dina. If you can email us and then we will contact you so we can talk in more detail po. Ayan po yung email address, erp.cid@up.edu.ph.
Tama po, oo. Okay. Okay. Mascom students to improve our writings, materials of different dialects. So yun nga po, they'll look into expanding to other languages that are being used under the MTBLB, yung mother tongue-based education. Nasagot na rin po from anonymous attendee yung question po regarding word variation na kung minsan po yung word ay iba-iba yung spelling. And therefore, iba din po yung count niya pag nag-iiba yung spelling as it appears in the text. Okay. Naku po kung may iba pa. How can educators help to improve sukat wika? Can producing materials of different dialects help? Paano po makakatulong ang mga educators natin sa pagpapa-improve ng sukat wika?
That is a very good question. How? Yes, I guess yung paggawa ng materials will help in pag may version na for the other languages. Kasi we started with the orthography. Parang yun yung unang hiningi nung DSP lab so they could program the sukat wika correctly. Tama ba, Francis? Yun yung pinakaunang kailangan, yung orthography of the language. Yun. So, syempre, pag may materials din, then we can counter-check if tama na yung programming. This is only from what we did before. So, yes, having materials in the language that you would like to include will be helpful in that sense. Yung sa next part po kasi this year, magkaka-FGDs kami. And then, yung parang target users, ayan, pareho kami ng iniisip ni Teacher Dina. Part of those will be educators. So, kukunin namin yung magiging input nila on the user friendliness and all that. And then how they think we should revise the features. So that yun, may parang feedback from the educator side. Francis, do you have anything to add? Oo. Yeah, parang yun siya. Yung parang design kasi nung naiisip namin, selected target audience will use the software as it is now, and then we will get their feedback using that experience. So parang ganun siya.
Okay po. Balik na naman po ako doon sa readability and suitability na parang paano can sukat wika be used as a way to assess, for instance, yung readability and suitability of materials na ipapabasa for kids of a particular age. So, syempre, no, commercially speaking, ang daming may mga prescribed textbooks ang DepEd, meron silang maraming mga libro na available commercially that you can purchase. So, pwede po bang gamitin yung sukat wika para malaman na ito bang material na ito, learner material na yan ay angkop para sa isang bata, halimbawa po na kindergarten o grade 1, ganun po.
Opo. Parang related siya dun sa isa sa mga previous question. Right now, it can, for example, if you can upload the document in the program, then it can give you the counts, right? So, ang assumption doon na type mo siya and then it's able to process it. And then, kung kilala mo yung bata, you will look at the counts and then determine na yun nga, parang masyado pang mahirap ito. Kunwari, masyadong mahaba pa yung words, hindi pa kami umaabot sa 3 or 4 syllables. Yung material, kunwari lang, ganun kahaba yung words na nasa loob. So, parang kailangan at the moment, yung version na to, kailangan ng human brain pa nga. Parang you try and leverage it against how parang yung skills ng bata. Parang ganun siya. But I think Teacher Dina has something else to say. Teacher Dina.
Yeah, I just weigh in on it also. Tring mentioned earlier that we are also trying to develop the multiliteracy assessments for Filipino children. At the moment, we're only working on K to 3, and that Sukatwika helped us develop the assessments, because we considered all the phoneme lengths, syllable lengths, and all of that in selecting the words that would go into the material. To be able to really identify what children are able to read, we're going to have to ask the children themselves, diba? So the learners will have to show us whether they can deal with X number of words in X number of sentences and read with comprehension. So if we are able to do that, then with many children, then it will be possible to arrive at averages, no, that might be generalizable to a larger population. But that can only be done if we have huge data sets and multiple years of development. Um, at the moment, it's rather difficult to do, no, resource wise, and also yung readiness din ng research team to have more texts, more assessments, yung buong readiness na in that whole process. But short of that, we can actually do it for smaller populations, di ba? Parang kunyari, within this school we can administer the reading assessments, and then we can check that vis-a-vis the corpus and see what sort of materials they can actually manage. Parang ganon. Pero to generalize to a larger population is too big work, such a big work that I don't think we're quite ready for that yet. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Teacher Dina. Maano nga po, that's really very apropos, no? Kasi yung assessment talaga, kailangan based siya kung sa mga actual na experience ng mga bata. Ano nalalaman ng mga bata. And that requires a lot of work. Just kind of making sure na at ito yung level ng understanding ng bata. So hanggang 3 syllables lang siya for, age ganito or grade 1, or hanggang kaya na niyang mag-understand ng mahahabang words at age ganito. That would require, parang large data sets to be able for you to generalize na that is such the case. However, alam ko po ang Sukatwika are now partnering with some schools po dito sa area, di ba? Malapit po sa UP, Ma'am Dina, that you're considering to kind of parang i-test or mag-assess para parang i-apply po on a small scale yung 1.0 at this time.
Yeah, yung both the MLAF and the more really the assessments, the MLAF, we're trying to refine that even more. Ang hirap lang because most of the cohorts that we're able to recruit are those who are experiencing difficulties in literacy. We need cohorts that are more so to speak normalized, no, in terms of the spread of ability. So we need to work towards that some more in terms of developing the MLAF. But the MLAF is informative for child to child at the moment at what children are capable of doing. Pero yung generalizable again to a population, hindi pa siya ready.
That's true po. Siguro i-plug na rin natin, Ma'am Dina, that you are thinking about working with publishers, correct? Yung nagpa-publish po ng mga learning materials on a commercial basis na para sa either DepEd or for sale ng mga libro para sa as learner material, and working with them in terms of yung pag-commission po ng mga writers ng textbooks or writers ng mga children's books as to yung parang guidance po so doon sa mga words na ginagamit and things. Can you tell us more about that?
What we have at the moment, parang we have, ano ba meron tayo? Parang letter of cooperation, parang ganon. We have
agreements, parang letter of support, parang
letter of
ganon.
support from a couple of publishers who are willing to help, willing to parang share their texts diba? As long as we, of course, protect their anonymity and all of that, so that we can enrich the corpus, the corpora. So that's one thing that we have, and hopefully, that will help us give them information on how different their texts are. Kunyari, how does a grade 5 text differ compared to a grade 3 text in terms of these counts that we are able to accomplish, parang ganon, no? And kasi kung minsan, we find materials na pang grade 1 na mas mahirap kaysa sa material na pang grade 3. Parang ganon. Hindi naman yan sinasadya kasi nobody really counts, di ba? Nobody really looks at it. So that's one little thing that we can contribute, di ba? However, again, I mentioned that it's very important to get the children to tell you what they can and cannot do. No? So, sukat wika is half of the equation, di ba? The living half is very, very important. And those are the readers and the teachers who can validate, diba, what Sukat Wika is trying to show or to demonstrate. So kalahati pa lang po, and for K to 3 we're moving towards MLAF, and hopefully that will give us a good picture of what K to 3 children can do, and that when we put the findings together, then we can come up with some sort of guidance, no? Ganito sana yung text ng grade 1, ganito sana yung text ng grade 2, ganito, because the text that we give children contribute to their success or failure in literacy, right? So being able to determine the features of text that will help them succeed would be very important. So we hope to do that with Francis, forever and ever. Amen. Okay, parang ganon. Kasi matagal siyang work. Thank you.
That's great. Meron pong anonymous attendee na 2 beses nag-post Q&A. Last na lang po ito. In connection with the point about phoneme count being based on the orthography, would not that clash with the definition of phoneme, especially when we do PA analysis? Di ko po alam kung anong ibig sabihin ng PA, pero ang sample niya, segmentation, deletion with students.
I'm not sure I fully understand. Our orthography is a representation of our phonemes or our sound units, parang ganon. So for Filipino, which is a very transparent orthography, we all know that usually, except for NG, no, or Enye, most of our, or AII, but kahit yun, discernible yung dalawang phoneme, kung ano yung baybay, siya rin yung bigkas, and the other way around, no? So that actually might not be so much of an issue in Filipino. For English, where you have long sounds with combined letters producing different sounds, for example, AI as in rain, and AY as in pay, and EIGH as in sleigh, which all create the same sound using different spelling patterns. What needs to be encoded and what has been encoded in Sukat Wika are all those options of letter clusters as phonemes. So, kasi Sukat Wika does not speak, di ba? It does not speak, nor does it encode material from speech. So, yun po ang boundaries ng Sukat Wika. We are working with text. So I think hopefully masagot namin yung question about clashing with, right? I don't think there's a clash in the definition. Maybe there is a little bit of parang we just need to express better that our analyzer is really for text and it's not for speech. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, that's great. So at this point, it is now 9:55 Tignan ko po kung meron pang mga tanong dito. Ay, may tanong po na um, using sukat wika for legal texts. Mukhang, kasi ang legal text po ay ano naman po yan siya, Latin at mga highly technical terms. Hindi po yan gumagamit ng mga lingwahe na ano na nakapasa loob sa sukat wika. So, gumamit na lang po kayo ng ibang text analyzer na may capability to analyze Latin text. So, pero ito po talaga ay para sa mga Filipino. So, yung mga wika na ginagamit natin sa pagtuturo at saka sa learner materials na printed, na publish po. Kasi doon po nanggaling yung purpose nila na 300 na learning materials. So, at halaw naman po ito sa orthography ng tungkol sa wika na may rules po kasi yung yung pag-pronounce ng mga words, paano binabaybay and things like that. Okay? So, at this point, I think na-answer naman po natin yung yung mga tanong dito, no? It's now 9:57. So unless meron pa pong gustong parang panghuling salita or last words coming from our presenters, no? Meron po ba kayong parang closing statements sa ating presenters, Teacher Dina, Tring, and Francis?
Siguro from me, wala naman po. Thank you all for listening. See you again soon in our other activities.
It's
Teacher
never
Dina.
too early to advertise for SIPAT Edukasyon, which is a big event po sa UPC-IDS. It happens every November. So, samahan niyo po kami sa SIPAT Edukasyon na ito po yung parang culminating event ng ERP program na nagaganap po every November. So, kung gusto po niyo pong malaman yung mga iba-iba pang mga projects ng ERP, hindi lang po Sukat Wika 2.0, but what they're doing with MLAC. Halimbawa po, samahan niyo po kami sa Sipat Edukasyon na event in November. Ma'am Dina?
Magpapasalamat lang sa lahat ng dumalo. The questions are really very important, no? And will help us in moving it forward. Marami talagang pangangailangan sa pag-aaral ng wika sa Pilipinas, sa totoo lang. There are a lot of resources for English, for example, but there's very, very little to use for Filipino, and this is the gap that we are trying to fill in our little way, no? So the suggestions and the questions are getting us to think about what would be the priority improvements or the priority ano ba tawag doon, priority developments in Sukat Wika for the future. In the meantime, we also want to make it useful, diba? So, we have to make decisions, ano ba, magiging useful na ba now or magde-develop ng software, validate ba ng validate. So, we also need to strike a balance because we know there's a gap in practical purposes. We want to make the one that we have now useful already. And then further develop also on the other hand. Parang gano'n. So, maraming salamat sa lahat ng inspiration from the questions. Nakakatuwa. Parang nag-FGD tayo, Dr. Paul. Thank you very much. Si Francis po, si Francis naman for his last words.
Para dapat si Teacher Dina yung last words. Wala na naman po ako masyado. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng pumunta at nakinig. Yun lang.
That's great. Okay. Isang masigabong palakpakan po para sa ating ERP team, particularly kay Teacher Dina, kay Tring, at saka kay Francis for sharing their time and for presenting Sukat Wika 1.0 at the Filipino Psycholinguistic Text Analyzer para po sa ating K-3 learner materials. So, ito pong presentation na ito actually is really a very good way of putting together nga po yung two kind of streams na sa palagay ko exemplary in terms of example talaga ito. You have UPC IDS, working on policy research that really is impactful. Na nakikita mo talaga yung yung gamit ng mga policy research na science-based, empirics-based para sa mga certain target audiences. At ito naman po ay talagang para sa education, basic education. And on the other hand, ang PAASE naman po ay ito po ay isang asosasyon ng mga mainly scientists and engineers na talagang ang trust po naman ay gamitin ang siyensya para sa ikabubuti ng mga Filipino. So when we were thinking about sino po yung sa PAASE at sa UPC IDS programs na may ganoong klase ng thrust in terms of technology and science and how it is made useful for Filipinos, there was no doubt in my mind that Sukat Wika is it. Kaya magpapasalamat po ako sa ERP for agreeing to present this type of present their Sukat Wika 1.0 for this audience. So napakaganda po kasi karamihan ng audience natin educators and at the same time po yung PAASE group mga mainly scientists and engineers who are very keen on ano po yung mga existing na mga technology available and under uses for Philippine public. So maganda po talagang example ang Sukat Wika. Okay. So at this point, I would like to thank again our presenters for today and for our audience, all 174 of you who took the time and joined us. May pahabol pang may pahabol na question si Mr. Villarmino. Is it free? Is it a software? Can I get a trial account? Sir, software po siya. Hindi po siya free. So wala pong trial account but you can send an email doon po sa aming ERP team para matanong kung paano nyo po ma-access. It is a copyrighted software with the University of the Philippines. So may restrictions po on use. Kaya ang suggestion ko po ay mag-send po ng email for inquiries. Okay. Yung pong email ng ERP ay nandoon sa chat box. So if you can just scroll up and find where that is, nandyan po siya. So si Tring is answering you po dun sa email address. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so maraming salamat po sa lahat ng interest and again, we'd like to invite you as well for many other events of the UPC IDS, particularly also for the ERP program. So yung Sukat Wika po nila, sa ano po yan, November po yan na mangyayari, big event. Meron din po kaming marami pang ibang events na online for free with the UPC IDS, announcements for which are posted in our website sa UPC IDS po. Nandyan din po ang aming Facebook page where you can find information of a whole variety of free events that you can participate in across the 12 or 15 programs of UPC IDS. Okay, wonderful. So at this point, I'd like to thank you again. Ako naman po ay magko-closing remarks na to tie it all up. Donning in my hat as PAASE Rec 13 co-chair. To my colleagues in PAASE who have joined us, maraming salamat po for attending. I see yung isang nakita ko po si Dr. Helen Dayo. Maraming salamat po sa pag-join. May mga iba pong makasama natin sa PAASE. Salamat po for joining us, even for our colleagues who are maybe in the United States. Kaya po maaga tayo dahil tina-time po yan para sa mga PAASE members po na nasa Amerika at sa iba pang lugar na nasa ibang time zone. So, it has been a great pleasure for CIDS to host this event alongside PAASE. And we hope that you were able to get very useful information from this presentation, and that in the future you would also be encouraged or motivated to check out other free events by UPCIDS and also PAASE. So ang PAASE po ay meron silang webinars that are conducted every week, and meron din po silang fireside chats which also are conducted on Fridays, I believe. So sa PAASE website po ay nakalagay din po yung iba't ibang events na meron naman sila. And again, they are more about science po talaga sila, hardcore science. But they also deal with a lot of science applications and technology. Very napaka upbeat and very timely yung kanilang mga discussion sa PAASE din. Okay. So thank you again, and we look forward to having you in our future events. On behalf of the UPCIDS ERP program, our publication staff here at the Bahay ng Alumni, where our office is, and also on behalf of PAASE, the secretariat is based in Iloilo with Ms. Fibri Esclares. We thank you all for participating in today's events, and see you again soon. Bye-bye po.